You already know what it's about. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. According to this, Thursday, I believe it is the day after Valentine's Day, which makes it February 15th, 2024, which makes it officially 4 days after the Super Bowl. And because I had some other things that I had to address the previous 3 days, because to address the Super Bowl game, had to address some things in regards to Valentine's Day and all that kind of stuff. I have to get that out the way. I get an opportunity now to address the halftime show. The fantastic, in my opinion, my personal opinion, top 5. Usher ranks as the top 5 in terms of halftime shows that I've ever seen. I believe number 1, in my opinion, you got to give number 1 to Dre, Snoop. He brought out 50 without any announcements previously, and Mary J. To me, that just tops the list. You're not gonna get better than that. And then it was in the West Coast. Like to me, you're just not gonna get better than that. Then you got to put Beyonce in that list, and then you got to also think about Bruno Mars. And honestly, I love the whole Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson thing. I love that too. All right, but in regards to Usher's, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, he took people from party mode, took people with the sad music, then he had the vibe music, then he brought the emotion back up when he brought Luda out. I mean, I thought it was an incredible performance. Here's what I want to talk to you guys today about. Here's what today's Move Swiftly thought is all about, is really recognizing what the actual conversation was actually about. All right. And I want my creators, I want my people who have talent, who have the ability, like myself, to address folks publicly, to have the skill to address folks publicly, and creatively come up with concepts, creatively come up with shows, and use their creativity to make a living. Understand, recognize what the actual conversation was about. All right. The national conversation going around, right, about the halftime show for the Super Bowl 58 was not about how talented Usher was, right? It's not about how talented that the lady who was playing the guitar was not about how talented Alicia Keys was when it comes to the way she performed on the keyboard and how she played the piano. Was not about anybody's talent or their creativity and how great Usher was in terms of, the guy was on there in roller skates. Apparently he's done that, he's done that before for people who have gone to his shows, but I thought it was incredibly impressive, the fact that he was on roller skates, guys. He's on roller skates doing a number, and in my mind, I'm just thinking like the show is going so well. I'm just hoping, I'm like, Usher, for your sake, just do not fall on these roller skates. That was what was going on in my head. I really was concerned about that, because I knew if it's me, it's like, oh, that'd be the worst thing in the world. All right. The conversation was about a hug between two friends a hug that lasted maybe if so much 5 seconds. That the Alicia Keys' husband, Swizz Beatz, had to come out on social media, and he had to be the one to say, look, it's straight, it's fine, guys. They're doing an incredible show, they're performing in an incredible way. Yes, he's gonna hug her and all that. It's not like, how can we be talking about that when how can we possibly be talking about that when we see this talent going on? We see the show that, as great as the show was, that's what the conversation was about. And I remember I was telling my mom this yesterday. Think about the next creator. Think about the young girl who watched that, who's talented as a pianist, who's talented artist, and is thinking about, instead of thinking about how to be the next Alicia Keys, or instead of thinking about how to perfect her craft and make her craft a little better, she's thinking about some hug that was between friends, and if she's allowed to hug a friend and all that. And that's what we just got to stop doing, and I don't like to make this a race thing. I really don't. I'm not a big race baiter type of guy, but sadly, this goes on too often, and especially within the black community. I don't even like using the term black community, but it goes on too often with black people, because instead of recognizing the artistry, recognizing the creativity, recognizing how great the performance was, we're fucking talking about a hug and some relationship that may or may not be, or the way a relationship is, when what we should be talking about is how talented and how great the performance was, and how creative the performance was, and how we can maybe incorporate some of that within our own lives. Instead, we want to create drama. We want to stir up bullshit. We want to stir up something that is just nothing, that there's nothing to stir up, but we want to make situations more messy or make a situation that's beautiful, clean. We want to turn it into a messy situation. All right. They're both seeing somebody else. They're both both in happy, fulfill, at least from the outside looking in. I don't know how happy they actually are, but from the outside looking in, it looks like Usher and Alicia Keys are both in happy, fulfilling relationships with somebody else. Yet we got to stir up some mess, because that's just what we do. We like to gossip. We like to, create shit that just isn't there, and it hurts us. All right, as much as people may be thinking it's just, oh, I'm just playing around, I'm just joking, it actually hurts us as a community. It hurts black people in general as a whole, because that's the assumption, that's the stereotypes that you fall into when you create this bullshit, when you don't have conversations about, man, that was just a talented show. I mean that was those were two just talented artists putting on a great show, and we got to focus on those things. We got to create the mess. We got to create nonsense. All right, keep that in mind. All right, because everything I'm talking about, I don't think it's going to change much, but I'm just hoping to touch the next creator. I'm hoping I touch the next artist, and have that in mind, that when you are out there creating, like I go out and I create every day, I create videos every single day, I put out content every single day. When you're going out and creating, understand that there's a small niche of people. There's only a small group of people that are going to really appreciate your artistry, appreciate your work, but you don't need a big group of you. You need a small group of people to work with, and then allow your art to be shared with the entire world. That's how you move as a creator. That's how you move as an artist. That's how you move as someone that has the talent. You have the talent within you to create whatever it is you're trying to create. You don't got to worry about all the critics and all the people that like to turn something that's beautiful into some sort of a messy, gossipy situation. All right. Main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.